Now, I haven't put you in the room yet, but you know what the goal is, and you see the box, and you know how big it is, and whatever. But again, you don't know how big the room is, or what the dimensions are going to be, or whatever. It's all, and you know it's going to be dark. So now you don't get to use your eyes to find this thing, but you're figuring, oh, well, I can still find it. So I'm just going to have to shuffle my feet around, and I'm sure I'll eventually kick it. And to kick this little box, I'll just keep walking around in the dark, kicking around. Eventually, if I, keep doing it over a long period of time, I'm going to kick this box, find where it is, and then tell everybody it's right over here. And thus you've located the position of the box, and now someone will give you a reward, which is free lifetime supply of food. But let's now introduce some really stiff dress shoes. So they got these, and they're really thick, lots of leather. You can't feel through the shoe. Okay, so the shoe is really hard. It's like one of those. I don't know even what it is. It's a really hard shoe. So, and the soles are very flat and very hard. Now, to make this thing a little harder for you, on top of all that, I'm going to throw some sand and some ball bearings all over the floor. And the floor is made of glass. So the idea is you're going to be worried that you're going to trip up. And if you trip up or fall, slide or step on some ball bearings, and you take a spill, then you'll dump the water, and of course you won't get your prize, which is all this free food. So the challenge is not to fall down. The challenge is to stand up, locate the box with a little message in it. It says free food. And I now open a door. I put you in this room, which is going to be dark. Actually, you're blindfolded. I let you into this room, and I tell you that the buckets of water are right by your feet. They got handles. And I put you into the room with a blindfold on it, so you don't have any ability to have any preview of the room to see that it's how big it is or how long, or if there's anything that would cause you any damage. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because the idea is don't spill the water. So, but you got to find this box. It's very important you find this box. So now you're worried about slipping and falling. So you're not going to be just arbitrarily just running around the room. You're going to be very careful with each step, that you don't take a slip or fall. And in the process of doing that, you just can't kick your feet around because if you kick your feet, you might trip on the sand or whatever and still fall. So you're going to have to carefully maneuver yourself around that dark room with no ability just to know how big that room is. But you'll probably, if you get to actually touching that little box, you'll probably, if you can just move it a little bit, you'll hear a little sound or whatever, and that will indicate that you found it, and then you can call it a win, and you'll be instantly, balloons will drop, and you'll have this big party and celebration that you now have a free lifetime supply of food of any kind you want on any meal of any day. So I put you in the room, you got your blindfold on, and when you get in the room, I close the door, and you're in total darkness. And I tell you to take off your blindfold, and basically tell you pick up the 2 buckets of water, and the hazards around the room, which are going to keep you from running around crazily, whatever. You're going to have to basically inch your way around and fear that you're going to trip or fall. And there's lots of ball bearings and little obstacles that are going to trip you up. So there you are, slowly working your way around a room. The buckets of water are getting heavy. You know that you're going to drop if you drop the buckets of water, it's over. You can't put them on the ground. You can't take a break. But your passion is to find that box, of course, because the reward, it'll be no matter what you want, filet mignon, lobster, bisque, lobster, whatever it is, it's all there. All you got to do is find that little box. And so there you go. So you're walking around in this dark room, and those buckets of water are getting heavy. Your hands are getting sore because they're like wires, you know, like an ice cream bucket, you know, the wire that comes along there, like gallon buckets. So, you know, and there you are, like working it out, and you're trying that. Now the wires are digging into your hands, and you're having, you know, thoughts about, is it really worth it? And so you spend half an hour, 5 hours, 10 hours. I mean, the motivation's there. You really want to find this little box. And you're endlessly walking around, and you don't even know if you've like already walked on that spot. If you're, you know, if you have to, if it's left or right or whatever. But the idea is very impassioned. And I mean, at one point, you're going to basically, you might get lucky, hit the box, and maybe you won't. And just to make it for fun, I'm going to just tell you that this room is not all that big. It's only like, let's say 30 by 30. But you don't know that when you get in there. And as you know, you can't like put the buckets down and feel for the walls. You're really not going to have really any ability to just figure out how big the room is. Even if you just sort of pace it off and walk in one direction, you might like walk left, walk right. So it's not even a big, huge area. But like I say, you try. And again, the reward would be the box. And of course, the reward for me, being that I'm paralyzed, will be a connection to the limb to make it work. So it's going to be tiresome, exhausting. I'll want to give up. I will be trying. It'll bother me. I'll get upset. I'll get worried. I'll cry. By both means. So if that can like give you some identity or some ability to understand what I'm talking about, which is you're yearning to find that box in a dark room without the ability of your hands or eyes or nose or mouth. You're basically having to shuffle your feet around with the fear that you're going to fall, but there's that chance that you like just hit it, kick it, and then ultimately there you go, free food. Well, I'd suggest that it's exactly what happens to a guy that's, you know, that's paralyzed. I mean, he's searching for that around in a dark room, i.e. his head, for a connection without falling or spilling anything to ultimately find that little box through all kinds of obstacles. And the reward would be, you know, the ultimate reward is to move your arm or leg again. And as it's a very passionately huge goal, you'll try. As well will the guy walk around the room for a long period of time until the guy in the room gives up because his hands hurt and he says, screw this noise, I'll just eat the pills. Well, quite similarly, when your hand or your legs don't work after a long period of time, you're going to maybe give up and not try, or, you know, become complacent that you agree that you failed and you can live with that. I'm not sure if that really gives you any idea or any true nature to what I'm talking about, but yeah, you're basically, when you're paralyzed, searching for something that's not very visible, and to which no one can actually tell you the way or the path to make that connection. You're basically having to find it on your own, all kinds of little tricky problems in your brain, and you got to want it bad enough to reap the reward. Put up with the pain, the fear, the anguish, whatever, all of it, to get there. Not everybody will be driven to a point where they can enjoy the reap or the reward. They'll give up. Some people quickly, some people longer. And it's a sad thing to think about. I mean, I'm sure I could probably put it another way, and I don't even know if this one hits you on the head or not, but there it is, and I'll let you think about that. I'm just going to think about something else myself.